depending on the modules are laid out to run about 8 to 10 weeks. I leave a little flexibility in the schedule. Really good example is this past week where I got sick. But sometimes we hit concepts or we hit content that is a little bit more difficult, and if an assignment has shown that majority of the students need to kind of revisit or review more of the information, then we'll kind of go back through it. The first module is concepts and principles of behavior analysis. And then we move on to ethics and professionalism in the field of ABA, followed by measurement and design, behavior assessments and treatment plans, behavior interventions, and then supervising others using behavior analysis. And then everything is wrapped up in that last month with a capstone project, which is basically assembling your educational CV. This is pulling together all the work that you've done in the coursework, preparing your application to sit for the exam.
Chad, we can't hear you.
Chad, we have lost your voice.
Can't hear you, Chad.
His mic is on, but we've
lost your
lost his voice.
audio.
Memrita, you can chat him.
You can unmute him. Rita, check.
No, he's not muted. He's not muted. His it's connected, but I'll try again. I just muted and unmuted him. Can you ask him to join again? Hello? Chad, we still can't hear you. Okay, sorry for the break, everyone.
Sorry for the break, but I think in the meantime, if anyone has questions, you can start typing them in the chat. So later when we get to the question and answers, we have all the questions we need. I hope everyone knows how to access the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we
He's back.
You were hearing me before you started the recording, right?
Now we can hear you. I will record it. Let's just go with this.
Okay. I need to start all over, don't I?
No. We heard.
Share the screen. We heard you a lot.
Okay. So anyway, I think I left off when I was talking about the IBAO as an organization. They've taken over certifying outside of the United States. And in order to become an IBA, you have to take the approved course sequence, which is got to be delivered by an approved content provider, which EBCS International is, and we work in partnership with Creative Kinderhouse. And once you've taken the course sequence, once you get started with the course sequence, you also have to do supervision. This supervision is something that really has to go hand in hand with the material that's being presented, because the way we apply our practice, it's important that you're getting applied knowledge as well as the content information. So I think that pretty much sums up the infrastructure of the course. Did you hear all the modules, Sabine?
Yes, we heard the modules.
That's really strange. It must have just cut out. So,
Yeah, right at the end.
But that's pretty much it. And we use Google Classroom, which is really user friendly. And we have one text that we read that I recommend to all the students that they purchase. That can be purchased through, or rather rented through an electronic subscription. But we do have 2 course accounts that can be shared between students and accessed for free. But the course is designed to be very rigorous. It runs like a master's level course. We modeled it after the BCBA course sequence, which is a master's program here in the United States. And it is very technical in language, and it's designed to produce professionals that are ready to practice whenever they've completed the course sequence and also completed the supervision. So I saw someone has a hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that Sabah has raised her hand. Do you have a question? Or maybe they've accidentally raised their hand. Okay, if
So I
they
think,
don't have a question, so I'll just put the hand down.
someone had put a question in about the fee. The fee is something that is it unfortunately is set. I do recognize I work all over the world, and I do recognize that there are different economies that we're working in. The equivalence of this course in the United States cost about $36,000 US. So we really struggled with trying to find a price point that we felt was fair. This is an investment in your future as a practitioner, and so it is something that we don't have any other fee structure other than what's currently available. We do offer a payment plan that can be broken out over the course of the 14 months, but this represents the work that goes into this course on my company's part. It's something that is time consuming, but also, again, it's not something to be taken lightly. It's a certification that legitimizes you in terms of being able to practice behavior analysis, and I think that is one of the kind of the global issues facing our field right now, is that you have a lot of people that are trying to practice behavior analysis, but not seeking out the proper credentials. And unfortunately, those proper credentials are an investment that needs to be put in. So the fee is kind of set, but we do have that payment plan.
Chad, could you please share that a lot of parents and therapists were asking me that with this credential, can they practice in other countries? Is there some limitation to which countries they can practice in, or how does that work? Just to give them an idea.
Yeah, so the only really restriction is the United States and Canada. Currently, the only certification that's recognized in the United States and Canada to practice is the BCBA, the Board Certified Behavior Analyst certification. My hope is down the road, 5, 6, maybe 10 years from now, that there's reciprocation between the 2 certifications, but the license, certification is the appropriate way to refer to it, is recognized throughout the rest of the world. And again, you're part of kind of the onset of this international movement to legitimize behavior analysis. There's been such an issue throughout the world of people practicing behavior analysis but not being qualified to do so. There's very actually, I can share a slide here that's kind of interesting, if you give me just a moment. Sabine, feel free to talk for a second while Yeah, let me share this slide real quick.
Muted.
I found it quicker before you could.
Yeah, could unmute myself.
So these are the statistics of certified behavior analysts. And as you can see, it's dominated of certification by the United States. One of the issues that the American board was having was regulating the practice of behavior analysts outside of the United States. We have an ethics code. We have what's called our task list that speaks to our scope of practice. And the American board felt it was best because they couldn't create the kind of oversight they needed to step away from the international scene. And that's how the International Behavior Analyst Organization was born. And they kind of stepped in and began providing these certifications. I think what it gets you the most is respect from people that are properly certified and properly licensed. It gets you respect from people that are on the global community. But the certification is recognized well throughout Europe, throughout Asia, South America, Central America.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to ask Sundas to share her experience with the group over here, since she's one of the first participants in this course. Sundas, if you could just tell us a bit about how it's going, the structure of the course, how you're finding it from the perspective of a participant, a student in the course.
Hello, assalamualaikum everyone. So I've been in this course for the past 2 months, and previously I was enrolled in another program, but then I shifted because I could find this program more systematic, and plus it was like a more very like it was like 1.5 year, but that 1.5 year was like I could see that I could learn a lot from it, because the modules that were shared with us, the schedule that was shared with us was, someone who has no background knowledge can start from here, because the modules, they are like very self-explanatory, and the kind of lectures that we have from Sir Chad, they're like someone who doesn't have the background knowledge can get through it very easily. Like you don't have to be like, I don't have psychology background. I don't have psychology background. I'm just an RBT. But it's like so easy for me to get through it. And whenever I practice it, the ABA, because like I work with Ma'am Celine, so whenever I practice it, like it's so easy. It's like coming in my mind, those strategies, those techniques, those lectures are actually in my mind. So the good thing is that I don't have to go back and forth, and whatever I learn from the lecture is stuck in my mind. So that's like something that I should really give credit to Sir Chad, because he explains everything so well. Then we have assignments every week, and by every week, like you don't have to be like, oh my God, so every week you have to be so stuck with it, or something like, because we have other priorities and commitments and stuff like that, and especially with our societal structure, we have many other commitments. The assignments that Sir gave, that we get every week, are something that they don't take a lot of time, but they're also very practical, and something that you can relate to your practices. So, and then we have group assignments. So you meet different people, you interact with them, and then you get their perspective also, which is so important, especially in this field, because it's a growing field, it's a new field. So, at the same time, you get different experiences, you meet different people, you get to know how ABA works over there, and what are their limitations, what are your limitations, and how are they practicing ABA, and how you are practicing it, and you can relate, and you can use those strategies also. So it's a very interactive program, and meeting people of different culture and society also gives you a wide range of understanding of how ABA can work in different scenarios and different settings. And then especially after me, I won't say wasting my 4 months in another program, but still, I think time is very crucial because we are practicing ABA and we have to practice it in the right way. So it's very important that you get a good supervisor, right kind of education, right kind of certification, and it's an investment. So in a year, you're going to learn something that you won't learn anywhere else while sitting at home, meeting different people, and then having a supervisor, a sir who has has worked for 20 years. So I'm very happy, and I'm very happy that Ma'am Sabine actually suggested me, and I followed her suggestions. I'm really happy with the course and everything.
I'm gonna have to go and fix give Sunas extra credit for the recommendation here. Sunas touched on some really
I
good
hope I'll
points.
get good grades.
Yeah. Well, you got a big exam coming up here soon, so. Sunas touched on some good points. How our course runs from a lecture standpoint. We do always hope in every cohort that we have participants from different countries. I think that really brings an interesting perspective to our lectures and to the discussion in general. But I also recognize that we're all, working adults, and that time is difficult sometimes. So we have a weekly live lecture that is recorded, and it's not mandatory. You're responsible for the content of it, but attending the lecture live is your decision if it's something that you want to prioritize. I try to accommodate the time difference as much as I can. Most of the year, I'm actually in Bulgaria, so I'm only a few hours different between Pakistan. But for the most part, I think right now, what time are we running it in Pakistan time? So this is it.
It's 7:30 p.m.
That's going to involve me doing math, though. Goodness, what time is it usually whenever we? It's like 9 or 8.
Like 7 to 9.
Yeah. Okay. So it is.
Mostly 7 to
It
9.
is something we've tried to make very accessible. We do have English subtitles that I kind of use to make sure I'm not speaking too fast or speaking in American idioms. And I've been working on the international scene for a while now, and one of the things that I recognize is that it's an effort to make this information usable and accessible. So we've had some great discussions in our live lectures, but that lecture is made available on our Google Classroom at the end of each week. I'm sorry, after the lecture is recorded. Prior to the lecture, I upload the slide content, so you have an opportunity to interact with that over the weekend before the lecture. In Sunus's cohort right now, the lectures are on Monday. That may or may not change for the coming lectures, but I'm sorry, for the coming cohort. And then, yes, I do assign assignments. I think that you have to be able to show that you've learned something and be able to use it. But I don't give a lot of quizzes. Actually, don't give quizzes at all. Really, what I give are kind of applied assignments, things that you should be producing as a behavior analyst. Really looking at this as an opportunity for you to not only get the knowledge that you need to practice, but also the experience that you need to practice. And I think that on the whole, those assignments have been found useful. I know the reading, there is just certain reading that has to be done with it. I know that it's tedious because of the language, but it is important to be done. But we've tried to really break it down on our lectures to, accompany that reading and make sure that everyone's understanding it before moving forward. I have office hours that that people can kind of reserve and contact me directly and work through it with them. And our hope is to have a need to grow our faculty and to have more participants in our faculty. As I look at Sabine, she'll probably be a big participant in this down the road. Also, my business partner, Katie Lyford, who's an amazing BCBA, she's going to be active in this as well. So, and we have opportunities that we're coming to Pakistan in the coming years. Our partnership with Creative Kinderhouse is something that I value a lot, and Sabine and I are always brainstorming ways to expand that. So there'll be opportunities to also interact in person with me, my staff, and create other learning opportunities for you as well. So does anybody else have any other questions?
Chad, I have one question, which again, a lot of people were asking me. Basically, what are the requirements, not just for this course, but to sit for the test as well? Do they need a specific bachelor's or master's in a certain subject, or can anyone take the test? How does that work?
So, the requirement for our course is a bachelor's or a master's in psychology education. It's kind of social service field where you're working with kind of the human condition. I've lightened up a little bit on that if you've been working, in the field and have a bachelor's degree in some other field, because what I found was I was the only approved content provider that was holding that requirement. You do have to have good English, be able to learn both verbally in English, receptively and expressively, and also be able to read, well in English in order to sit the exam, because that exam will be in English. In terms of technology, it's pretty simple. I mean, everything runs through Google, so there's not really any type of outlay. If people rent the textbook, I think it's something like $8 a month or $10 a month, something like that, US dollars. So that's really the only requirement there. In terms of registering and sitting for the exam, whenever you start your coursework, you register with the IBAO as a student that's taking the approved course sequence. And at that time, you can begin to start receiving supervision. 1,000 hours of supervision are required. I can actually share that slide real quick. Sabine, might be a little bit easier. Keep me on track here. That was in our introduction module, right? Or maybe I just linked to it when I was giving the lecture. And that needs to be done. It takes a little over a year to get the supervision done. It has to be either a board certified behavior analyst or an IBA that's certified to do that supervision. And once that supervision is complete, you record all your supervision hours with the IBAO. You submit those documents and your certificate from our program to the IBAO, and then you can sit the exam.
Perfect. Does anyone have any questions? You can unmute yourself and ask directly.
Well, your day is wrapping up and mine's just getting started. I appreciate the time that you've taken here today. I look forward to the opportunity to kind of expand the field of behavior analysts in Pakistan. Sunis is a great student, and excited to have her in the program. So I hope to see some of you complete the registration process, and we'll get a start date for the program. Right now, we're targeting January 15th, but I may delay that a little bit to see so that we have the full cohort with it, because I want to try to piece some other students into it.
Is there any cutoff date to register, just so people have an idea?
Yeah, I would say probably December 31st for the
Okay.
the January cohort.
Okay.
And again, everything's set up. Either I offer two pricing structures. One is to be paid in advance, and one is that kind of
A payment.
payment plan that can be done monthly. So that can start whenever the course sequence starts.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Then
Well,
thank
again,
you.
everybody, I apologize for my voice, and I usually have a lot more energy than this.
Thank you for
But
joining us.
absolutely. Sabine, have a great day, Sundus. I'll be speaking with you soon. And,
Take care.
everybody take care.
Thank you,
very
everyone.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.